Hey guys, welcome back to CMS Prodigy. So we have already discussed about what WordPress actually is and why you should use WordPress to develop your website. So in this video, we'll see how we can set up WordPress on our local computers and start with the development. Currently, we are not setting up WordPress on the servers that are provided by the hosting platforms. So we'll set up the server locally to install WordPress onto that and start with our website. Okay, there are a lot of different softwares out there that provides us this kind of local host on which we can set up the WordPress. So in this video, we'll see what are the best softwares out there that you can use to set up your WordPress website locally. So we'll check out bunch of localhost softwares, and in the end of the video I'll tell you what software I really recommend you guys to use. Okay, so before diving into the localhost softwares, let's just quickly go to the wordpress.org and download the WordPress. You can just follow the steps that I'm doing and you'll be good to go. So this is what I'm downloading. So we have downloaded zip file. So now let's dive to our first localhost software, which is Xampp. Okay, so Xampp is one of the most famous softwares out there which helps us to set up localhost on our computers. And if you would have asked me a few years back, I would have definitely recommended you this software. But lately this software has a lot of different errors that I really find time to time. Like for example, the MySQL shutdown error or Apache shutdown error, which is really very annoying. So I'm not going to recommend this software to you guys to use to set up the localhost, but this is for the learning purposes, so you should know how you can set up Xampp to use WordPress. Okay, so I just search for Xampp, and now I'll click on the first link, like this link, to download Xampp. Okay, I'm on the Windows, so I'll go to the Windows files and I'll download the 8.2, the latest version. So the download will start in a second, and yeah, so the download started. It will take few seconds. Okay, so we have successfully downloaded the Xampp software. Now we'll just install it like we install any other software on our computers. I'll just click next, 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 and yeah, the installation started. Okay, so we have successfully done the installation. So now we'll just finish it up and the control panel will pop up. So this is the Xampp control panel. So now you don't have to worry about FileZilla, Mercury and Tomcat, because this is not we are going to use. The main thing is the Apache and MySQL. Okay, Apache is the server name and MySQL is the database name where the WordPress file will be stored. All right, so we'll start both of them. So as you can see, the port numbers are there, so they are successfully started. So now we'll set up WordPress file that we have downloaded onto this server. Okay, now we can just cut these tabs. We can just go to the downloads. So this is the WordPress file that we have downloaded. I'll just copy it up, and now we'll go to my drive, which is the installation of Xampp happened on the C drive. Okay, so here you'll see the folder of Xampp. All right, now when you go inside the Xampp folder, you'll see the htdocs folder. This is the folder where you'll place all your files, all your WordPress files, and go with the development. All right, so I'm going to go inside the htdocs folder and delete everything that is here right now because we don't want it. So now the folder is empty and I'm going to paste the WordPress file that I have downloaded and extract it here. So this extraction is done, and now we have the extracted WordPress file. Now we'll delete the zip file from this folder, and now we have the WordPress file. All right, our server is running, our localhost is set up properly, and we have properly extracted the WordPress file as well. It's time to go to the Chrome and write localhost to get to the file. So this is the file that we have placed into the htdocs folders, as you can see. Okay, this is the same file, right? So now we'll click on this file, and this is the internal WordPress folder. So we'll click onto that, and here we will get to the WordPress installation. This is the place where from where we'll start the WordPress installation. Now pretty forward, starting asking us to select the language. I'm going with English. Now it's saying us that we have to provide the database name, the database username, password and localhost. Now for this we don't have a database right now. Okay, so we have to set up database first, and then that name we'll provide here. So to go to the database we will click on the Xampp control panel and we'll click on the admin, like in the MySQL row. It will take us to PHP MyAdmin. So this is where you will create the database. Okay, you'll click on this new, you'll write the database name like testdb and you just create it. Now this is, you have created an empty database. There are no rows right now, and the rows will come automatically once you are done with the WordPress installation. All right, so this is the name of our database, test_db. So we'll click on let's go. We'll write test_db and the username for you also will be root, so you can go with the root. This is the database username, general database username, and the password is nothing, you can just leave it empty. The database host is localhost and the prefix is wp, so you can just submit it and this will successfully set up the database. Alright Sparky, you have made it through this part of the installation. WordPress can now communicate with the database. Okay, WordPress and the database is connected properly. Now we'll run the installation. To run the installation, we have to place different information like what is the site title, like my WordPress area, username Rohan Sharma, and this is the password I'm going with. Okay, this is my email, and this is search engine visibility. We don't want these links to be visible into any kind of a Google search or something like that. That's why we'll be discouraging it. Now as this is in a localhost setup, so it might not make the most of the sense, but once you are developing it on the staging websites, you really don't want that the staging URLs also coming into the search results. Okay, so that's why we click on this, so that we don't want, so that these URLs doesn't come into the search results. So we'll discourage it and then we'll install the WordPress. WordPress has been installed. Thank you and enjoy. We'll just log in with the username and password, or the email and password. All right, so I'm just using my email. This is the email and this is the password, and I'll just log in. So this is the WordPress dashboard, and this is how you set up WordPress on your local computer using Xampp software. Now the next software that we'll be seeing to set up WordPress on our local computers is Mamp. Mamp previously used to be only for Mac OS, and that's why the M in the Mamp stands for Mac OS, and like A is for Apache and M is for MySQL and P is for PHP. But now we can use it for the Windows as well. This software has a pro version as well, which has a lot more features in comparison to the free version. But in this video we'll be seeing how we can set up WordPress on the free version of Mamp. So I've searched for Mamp and I'm clicking on the downloads link. So this is the file that I'm going to download as I am on Windows. So the download has already started. This is the Nano DNS app, the perfect map companion. We'll just not try it. Okay, we'll leave it. We don't want it. So the download has started and I'll get back to you once the download is complete. So we have downloaded the Mamp on our local computer. So now we'll install it. Just next, install Mamp Pro. In addition to Mamp, we don't actually want Mamp Pro, and install Apple Bonjour, used for Mamp viewers. So I'm not going to just take that as well. I'm just going ahead. I accept the agreement. Again, in the C folder, Mamp is the name, create a desktop icon, install. Okay, so the setup is complete, and now we'll just click on finish, and we have successfully installed Mamp on our computer. So I'm just going to run it. So this is the control panel that you'll see on Mamp. All right, so the server is like, of course, like it's not enabled right now, so we'll start the servers. And since the servers are starting now, we'll just see the file hierarchy as well in Mamp. So this is the Mamp folder, and this is like the files that we get in Mamp, and again we have the htdocs folder in that as well. Okay, which is containing the index file right now and the logo of Mamp Pro. Okay, so now the Apache server is also on, the MySQL server is also on. This is the right thing. All right, so now I'm going to refresh it. So this is the page that I'll see. So I'm clicking on the Mamp website, so it is taking me to this page from where we have like the promotion page. Okay, so this is what we are seeing right now. In this we can see that the name of the host is localhost and the username and password is root, okay, which we'll be using. So to set up the database, we'll click on tools, and we'll click on phpMyAdmin. So this is what like the database area is, and we'll click on the new, and I'm just naming it testdb as we have done before, and we have created a database now. So this is what we are seeing right now, because in htdocs we have not placed the WordPress folder. Now I'm going to go to like the htdocs. I am here, so I'm going to go downloads and just copy the WordPress zip file, and I'm going back to the htdocs folder. I'm deleting this because we don't need them. I'm just extracting the WordPress file into the htdocs folder. This software is basically like heavier than Xampp, definitely, and it's not as like simplified as Xampp is, right? It can be a little tricky, but like Xampp is really straightforward. Like you wanted what you want, you'll just directly get it, right? But this has a little learning curve, I can say. So now we have our WordPress file into the folder. This is the htdocs folder. I'm going to delete the zip file. So we have our WordPress in our htdocs folder. So now if I am just refreshing, I'm just going to this, then this is what I see. Like let's say, let me just click on localhost. This is the file. This is the WordPress again, because this is happening because we have this folder and then we have the WordPress folder inside it. So we'll be clicking on WordPress, and again we are on the setup. All right. So now we'll click on continue. Let's go. The database name is testdb and the username is root. The password is also root, as we have seen. In Xampp the password was like empty, but in this the password is root. And then we'll submit. All right, Sparky, you have made it. So we'll start the installation now. In installation we'll be placing all the information that is there, and we'll be discouraging this as well because we don't want the URLs to come up in the search results. And we'll install WordPress. So the WordPress installation is done. We'll log in with our email and password, and now we are inside the dashboard. Okay, this is the setup we did using Mamp localhost server. Now the thing is, when I'm just on this panel, and if I am clicking on open web page, I'm still getting this. All right, if I'm going to the clicking on Mamp website, I'm still getting this. Like there is not a very direct way to do it. Like if I am going to the localhost, let's say if I'm clicking on this, then this is taking me to this, then I have to go to WordPress, and here I'm seeing my site. So I can just copy this, or I can copy this URL, and I can go to the Mamp control panel. I can go to Mamp. I can click on preferences, and after that, in my favorite link, I'll place this link. This is the link. Okay, and I am going to click on OK, and this will like stop everything and start it again. Now I'm just like removing all the tabs first of all. Now if I go to this, and now if I click on open start web page, now I have my favorite link. All right, now if I'm clicking on this, I am directly going to my dashboard. So this is one of the things that you can set up to directly come to the dashboard. All right, so this is how Mamp works, and this is how you can start the WordPress development using the Mamp localhost server. So the next software we're going to see is called AMP. It's spelled like AMPPS if I'm not wrong. Okay, so yeah, this is the server that we are going to set up and see how we can like place WordPress onto that. In all the softwares out there that I have used, this is basically, I feel, is a little more complicated than all of them. Okay, this has a lot of options, different things that we can do, but since we are sticking to WordPress, and since I want to make this tutorial very easy for anybody to understand and follow, so I am just simply going to tap onto all those functionalities that are required to set up the WordPress onto this localhost server. So with that being said, we'll just click on downloads and we'll download this file. I'm on Windows actually, so I'll be doing it for Windows. You can go for Mac OS if you want. So the download has started. We'll get back to you once the download is done. Okay, so the download is done now. Now we'll just install it like we install any other software on our computers. Click on next. I accept the agreement. Next, 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 next. Create everything and install. Okay, so I'll just click repair, and that's all. So this is how you install AMP. Now this will show you this prompt. Okay, this is like telling everything that this needs, the software needs to run properly. Okay, so all these things that I mentioned here will be like downloaded and installed now when you click on continue. So continue, so it will download everything that is there and install it. Okay, so we'll just wait until everything is just downloaded and ticked so we can go ahead. Okay, so everything is installed perfectly now, and as you can see the status is updated, and the Apache, the server, and the MySQL, the database, both are running perfectly fine. So now what we need to do is we need to just go ahead with the WordPress installation and set up on this server. All right, so there are a bunch of options that you can see, right? So we'll go through these options one by one to give you a little clarity on what these options can do. All right, so first of all, this is some settings options that you can see, which you will not be needing much. All right, so we'll not go deep into it. So these are a bunch of the settings that you'll see, but you'll not be needing it, you'll not be using it. All right, so the second thing is the localhost. So this is the localhost, and these are the files that are there in this folder right now. All right, so moving ahead, this icon is the home icon, which will take you to this place. This is the place where you will see different things, but the main thing that we are going to work on, like in this, is on adding the database, right? As we have to add database when we are setting up WordPress, so this is where we will be adding the database. All right, so other than that, other options are the admin option, the admin panel. Here you'll see different insights and different information about the server versions and things like that. All right, after this we have the option, the directory option, where you'll see all the folders that are there. So these are the files. As you can see, these are the files which are visible on the front end right now. All right, so in the past softwares that we have installed, we saw that there was a folder named htdocs, which was contain which where we have to place WordPress, right, to just display it on the front end. But in the AMP server, the folder name is www. There is no htdocs folder here, so we'll be working with www folder, and we'll be placing the the WordPress downloaded file over here to set it up. All right, so I'm just going to go to my downloads, just copy it, go back, delete everything that is here, paste the WordPress file, and extract it here. So now we have successfully extracted the WordPress file. Now I'll be deleting the zip file. Okay, and going back to the control panel of AMP, and I'll be clicking on the localhost. So this is what I can see now. Now after I click on this, we'll just again reach to our WordPress setup. So this is where the WordPress setup starts. All right, I'm selecting my language. Now we need a database, so that we can place the database name here and go ahead. Okay, so I'm just clicking on let's go for now, and I'm again going to the AMP control panel. I am going to home. I'm clicking on add database here. So in the previous localhost softwares, we saw that when we just go to add database for our WordPress installation, we are already logged in to the PHP MyAdmin, right? But with this software, we are not already logged in. We have to create credentials to log ourselves in so that we can create a database. All right, so now we'll just come back to our localhost slash amps, which is the home. Okay, and now here we can see that my SQL password is there, so we'll click on this. So this is the MySQL username is root. Old password, the default root password is MySQL. So either you can use root and MySQL as your username and password, or you can create a new password. All right, so for now I'll be going with these passwords. Okay, I'll be these credentials. So this is the username and MySQL is the password, and this will log us in so that we can create a database. So now we'll be clicking on new. Database name is testdb and we'll create it. So now we have successfully created the database, and now we just go to the tab where we were installing WordPress. Now we'll place the name as testdb. Root password of the database is not root, that is MySQL. Okay, host name is localhost. WP will submit it. All right, Sparky. So we have perfectly placed we have perfectly set up the database and the WordPress connection. All right, now we'll just run the WordPress installation. For that, we'll be placing all the information that the software is asking. This is the password I'm going with, this is the email, and I'm also discouraging it so that we don't see these URLs in the search engine. Okay, we don't want that. So we'll just install WordPress now. So I'll be in just logging in using my email and password that I generated. So this is how you set up WordPress on AMP localhost server. All right, although this is what I said before, this is not a bad software to use. Okay, but this is something which I also not recommend, because as you can see there are a lot of settings, a lot of things which can overwhelm people. All right. Okay, so finally let's talk about the software that I really recommend you guys to use. So in all the previous softwares that we have seen till now, we can spot that there is a pattern where we first install that software, then we spot that folder where we have to place the WordPress file, then we extract the WordPress file there, and then start with the WordPress installation, then set up the database and do all the certain things in order to start with the WordPress website, right? But this is the software that cuts all those processes. Now if you're using this software, you don't have to go into any folder hierarchy, you don't have to download WordPress file, you don't have to place WordPress file into a certain folder, you don't have to make the WordPress installation, you don't have to create the database. All these processes are taken care of already. You just have to place this software, run it, and that's all. It will automatically give you the WordPress setup that you can just click and you will reach to your WordPress dashboard. That's why this is the software which I really like, and it's very straightforward and anybody can use it if all the processes that I just mentioned are like too overwhelming for you guys to follow. All right, so let's just quickly see how we can set it up and how we can start with the WordPress website. So just type LocalWP, and this is what I'm talking about. So I'm just going to that link and I'm just downloading this software. This I'm on Windows, so I'm selecting Windows. Okay, I can just get it now. Email I have to place, and that's all. Okay, it'll take 2 minutes. So once the download is done, I'll get back to you. Alright, so we have successfully downloaded the software. Now we'll just open it and install it. I'm going for anyone who uses this computer. You can just select the option that you like. Okay, install. Okay, so the installation is done and we'll just finish it and run the local. So this is what you will see. Now you can click on the plus icon also to add a local site, or you can click on this button as well to create a site. All right, so I'm going to click on this button to create a new site. Now I want to create a new site. Okay, what's your site's name? My site's name will be, let's say, test website. Now I'll go with the preferred version. I'm not going to create a custom environment, but if you select custom, it allows you to select the PHP version that you want, select the web server that you want, and select the database that you want. All right, it's very straightforward. Okay, but I'm going with the preferred version. It has all these specifications that you can see here. All right, So I'm clicking on continue. So my WordPress username, I'm going with Rohan Sharma. WordPress password, and WordPress email, I'm leaving this email as my WordPress email. All right. In the advanced option, you can select is this a WordPress multi-site or not. So if you don't know about the multi-site, we'll definitely talk about it as well in the future videos. All right. So after that, I'm just clicking on add a site, and it will just process it, and it will create a website just like that. So that's why this is the software that I really recommend, because very straightforward, cuts out all the processes that you like have to manually do, and you can just click and your website is ready. Right now, this is your website, it's totally ready to use. Now I can click on open site, and this is the site that I'm seeing right now. And in the control panel, if I'm clicking on a WP admin, then it will directly take me to the WordPress login page, where I'll place my username and the password, and that's it. I'll log in inside the WordPress dashboard. So this is very simple, very straightforward, no technical stuff. It handles everything automatically and gives you your WordPress website. That's why this is something that I really like. I just really enjoy it, because you don't have to do anything, right? It just provides you everything that you want. So now, like for example, you have one site running. So if you want to create another site, you can click on this plus icon. You can add like more sites as well. And like when you're done with the website, you can just click on the stop site, and it will stop running, and you can open it again and start site again to start working with the website. So yeah, this is all about the video. I hope you will learn something from it. So we'll see you in the next one.